Hey y'all. Well, a few days ago I was making a video on Sam Gibbs' book, the second answer book, and we got to question 71. The first 62 questions are in the first answer book, and this is the 162 through 80, I believe it is 90. Sorry. Then 90 through the rest of the questions are in the answer book third answer book. I think he's making it a fourth answer book. Not sure. But anyway, want to be kind of a little specific on this. I think I made a couple videos on this before, a video on this before several years ago. Can't remember exactly when. But anyway, here, the New King James Version Bible. This is a 1982 edition. If you go to question 71 of the second answer book that I posted the other day, I think that's the second one that I posted, you'll see what I was reading to about it. But the scripture in here is different than the scripture in the newer New King James Version Bibles. The newer King James Version Bibles don't have the republication date of 1994. So obviously, by what Sam was saying, after 1982, 14 years later, 12 years later, they go with a revision, but they don't put the revision there as it being revised. They don't put the republication date of it being revised. And of course, the revision is something changed. In addition, like in the King James Version Bible, when it went to the Blaney edition finally, that's not a revision, it's an addition. They just standardized the spelling and things like that. It didn't change the doctrine. But the New King James Version changes doctrine, changes prophecy. So if we go to, I don't know why I closed it. So if we go to Zechariah 13:6, it says, and someone will say to him, what are thine wounds, and what are these wounds in your hands? Instead of saying thine, it says yours. So it took out the these and the thous, of course. Then he will answer, those of which I was wounded in the house of my friends. He says, what are these wounds in your hands? That's the prophecy. The thine is taken out for yours. Yeah. So they took that out and put your hands instead. That doesn't destroy the prophecy. Now, this is a 1982. It says copyright 1984, but it's time else. But it's 1982. I think the whole King James Version Bible came out in 82. And if I'm not mistaken, it's Arthur Farstad publication, or he actually not publication by him, but he's the one that worked on it. Him and several others. And the thing about some people say that the New King James Version is the same as the King James Version. It's not, because if they have the Masoretic text, yeah, they have that. They also have the Hebrew Masoretic text. They also have the Greek text. But they swapped it around with a Stuttgartensia, the Biblical Hebraic Stuttgart. Let's just say Stuttgart. Rudolf Keitel was the one that started that. Rudolf Keitel he didn't like Jews. Rudolf Keitel is the one that also was enforcing the sacred name of Yahweh. And eventually, Paul Kale took up the work of Rudolf Keitel, and he's the one that's done the Stuttgart and also the Quinta, which is the Biblical Hebraic of 4 and 5. Rudolf Keitel has done 1, 2, and 3, and then of course he passed away. But the Biblical Hebraic Stuttgart is, like I said, stated like that. And the Quinta, the number 5, he's the one that's done those two, Biblical Hebraic. I think there's some kind of involvement with Nestle Island and stuff like that, and the Greek text, New Testament Greek, and all that stuff, perverted, taking scriptures out, making it seem like it was something else when it wasn't, and things of that nature. Now, if we go to, I don't want to make this very long, Zechariah 13:6 in the newer New King James Version Bibles, and I looked at. I have another King James Version Bible at home, New King James Version Bible at home, and I looked at it and it said the same thing this one says, because I know for sure then it's a post 94 New King James Version Bible. So anything that's after 1994, it'll have this idiotic thing, which I'm about to read to you. So let me get to it real quick. Okay, I got to it. Zechariah 13:6 and the post 1994 editions. Not 1982. Anything between 1982 and up to 1994 will say something different. Anything 1994 up till today, what, 30 years later? Is that what it is? Yeah. Will say this. It will say, and one will say to him in Zechariah 13:6, what are these wounds between your arms? What? What are these wounds between your arms? Does that even make sense? Then he will answer, those with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. What are these wounds between your arms? It gets the impression that somebody needs to look at the Lord's chest. And what naturally the Lord will be looking down, oh, these wounds? Oh, I got these in the house of my friends. No, he'd be like, these wounds. Nail prints in his hands are from the house. I got these from the house of my friends, which I was wounded in the house of my friends. The nail prints, yeah. You people crucified me, you know. It's not about the chest wounds or the wounds between the arms. It's the one what's in his hands. Now, the weird thing about this Bible, it says this, is you can only, if you go to the little thing here, it says how much you can do, how much you can publish, and all that stuff. The second thing it says is that all in KJV quotations must conform accurately to the New King James Version text. Whatever you publish. If you publish to whatever, it must be not go over 50% of the complete book and all that other stuff. There's no republication date in here. It still uses the 1982 publication date. Even though there's uniquely there are two different New King James Version Bibles, but both of them still have the 1982 copyright of the original New King James Version Bible. So isn't that slick? They're slick. As Farstad or whoever did this, that was actually pretty slick. And I think it's under, of course, Thomas Nelson. Thomas Nelson is slick. So anyway, you got two New King James Version Bibles. One from 82, one from 94. The one from 82 reads just about like the original, except for thine is yours, your hands. And then 1994 reads, what are these wounds between your arms? And of course, they want you to go accurately by their quotations and use it accurately. Okay, well, so if it's still under the 1982 copyright, which one do you use? Do you use the one in the hands or the ones between the arms? So isn't that weird? Hey, I wanted to show you some other things too that got out of Sam's book, the Second Answer book, and that was more things on the Living Bible. The Living Bible didn't directly precede actually the New Living Translation. It was like a spin-off, but it wasn't. From what I understand, it was like the Living Bible, but it wasn't a direct something that spun off of it. But anyway, I'm going to show you something here. I have an NASV Bible from 95, and I also have one from 2020, but I don't have ones preceding that. I used to have them, but I took them to the library and I sold them like a dummy. Should have just kept them. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is the Living Bible and an NIV. Okay, I have a parallel Bible. It's called the Guidepost or something like that, or no, yeah, the Guidepost Parallel Bible. Let me show you too. And there was one that kind of preceded it. I think it was a different name, but it was pretty much the same thing. So it has the King James Version, the New International Version, the Living Bible, and the Revised Standard Version. So some of them have the ASV in them. So the copyright date in this one is the living letters and all that stuff from the 60s, and the whole Bible itself by the year 1971. And this the parallel Bible. But at the bottom here, when you come down to the bottom of it, as Sam says, it has SOB in it. Now the parallel Bible has something else differently. Sam, in his book, the second answer book, and like again, if you go to question 71 on my second answer book, you'll see where I read this. It says, "To Saul, boiled with rage, 'You fool,' he yelled at him. 'Do you think I don't know what you want this? That I don't know that you want this son of a nobody to be king in your place, shaming yourself and your mother? As long as this fellow's alive, you'll never be king. Now go and get him so I can kill him.'" Now, if you go down here at the bottom, of course, you're in a way. It says, literally, "The Lord is our mediator forever." Literally, "son of a perverse, rebellious woman," it says. The paraphrase is the modern equivalent. Literally, "son of Jesse." Now, this isn't, of course, the Living Bible book. It's been put in Parallel Bible. Now, let's take a look at the Living Bible itself. This right here is the Living Bible. I bought this about 3 years ago. And it come to 1 Samuel, 20 and 30. It says, "Saul, bold with rage, 'You fool,' he yelled at him. 'Do you think I don't know that you want this son of a nobody?'" See the stars there? "To be king in your place, shaming yourself and your mother. As long as as long as that fella is alive, you'll never be king. Now go and get him so I can kill him." Now when you get down here to the bottom, it says the modern equivalent is "son of a bitch." So Sam was right about that, but it's where it was. And as you can see here, the print date, the publication date, or whatever, the copyright date, is 1971. So there's never been a Bible to come after this one, the Living Bible in the revised edition or whatever. Only the New Living Translation is kind of succeeded it, and but it's not a direct spin-off of the Living Bible. So you see it right there. It's 1971. That's the Bible itself. And let's take a look at the Parallel Bible here. So again, we see the Living Bible's copyright dates right here. The Tyndale House Publishers, 1971. Now you think that's bad. Eugene Peterson and his Message Bible. Look at what Eugene Peterson calls Jonathan, his own son. He said that's why he's not here to be the king's table. So I was putting in here and said, "Jonathan, you son of a slut. Don't you think I know that you're in cahoots with the son of Jesse, disgracing both you and your mother? For long as the son of Jesse is walking around free on this earth, your future in this kingdom is at risk. Now go get him, bring him here. From this moment, he's as good as dead. You son of a slut." Wow, isn't that nice language? Now let's take a look at some NIVs, why don't we? Now again, this is the Guidepost Parallel Bible, and I think the publication date on this one, the Bible that it used, the Parallel Bible used, is it is 1978. And see here in Luke chapter 16, verse 23. Let's see how many times it changes. Again, this is the 1978 version of the NIV. Okay. It says, in hell he lifts up his eyes. Now when you come down here to the bottom, the thing that's, it says a little, doesn't even show parentheses there. It has the Greek for Hades. Well, why didn't they just put that there then? If that's what they want to put, you'll see later here, they probably did do that. So I have here 1978, revised August 1983. So it came out in 84, I believe. So it just tells you, revised, straightforward. Okay, so here we are with the TNIV. I think Sam brings this up in his book, but he doesn't specifically say that the TNIV. So we see here it says editions in the NIV that preceded the 2001 revision also read, in hell he, but with preceded 2011 hell was expunged. But see here it says the editions of the new NIV precede the 2001 revision. The TNIV is a revision. Not all of it's a big revision, but it didn't stick around for a lot. That's whenever they started messing with the don't know exactly what they were doing with it, but the 2005, the TNIV, didn't last very long, and then the 2011 NIV, he went back to NIV again. So let's see what that one says here. So looking at the TNIV, you see it says, in Hades, where he was in torments. Now you go down at the bottom here, what does it say? Has no little note there saying what it is, what it's about, this, that, and the other. See, now it went from hell to Hades. How about that? And you can see here the TNIV was the all-tell Bible was supposed to replace the NIV of these two versions. But pause and read that. It didn't take. So funny thing, I was putting some of my Bibles back, and a parallel Bible slid it in a little cubby hole over here on my desk my mom gave me. And I slid it in there, and it wouldn't go any further. I'm like, what's going on here? So I took it out, and lo and behold, guess what I found? My New King James Version Bible that I thought I got rid of. I didn't get rid of it. I kind of felt in my bones that I'm like, where is that sucker at? Where did it go? Because I know I don't think I took it to the place, because I would have, if it wasn't meaningful to me, and I don't really, our friendship is kind of remended in the ways the guy that gave it to me, but we don't really talk like we used to, but still, I remember thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give this one away, because it meant something to me whenever he gave it to me and signed it to me, and, signed his name from it in it and to me. So I'm not going to really do that. So I remember thinking that, but I don't recall what I did afterwards. So months and months and months, it's sitting there in that cubby hole, and it's like, whenever I go to push my Bible in there, my parallel Bible in there with the 4 Bibles, lo and behold, there it is. I'm like, oh, where you been? But anyway, it's pretty neat that I found it, and I'm kind of glad I did. And it's the 1984 version. Sam, I believe, made a mistake making a misprint. I texted him and I said, send it. I asked him about it. I don't know if I get a reply back or not, because it might be a number that he replaced. But anyway, I asked him about it. I think that's his number. But anyway, I keep saying anyway. But it's the 1984, I believe, edition that was 1984 revision. There are some that are still out there that don't have, they go by the 1984, but some of them still hold the 1982 print. Even though they're, say, another year, they have the 1982 original New King James Version print. So you have a younger Bible, but still with the old 1982 print, and some of them come out with a 1984 print. The changeover. Anyway, so I just want to put that out there real quick. And so there you go. Yeah, I'm so glad I found it. And it kind of means a little bit to me, not very much. Just use it for reference, because a lot of my notes are in it
from whenever I was, with my wife and stuff like that, and my son was a little boy and stuff like that. So I really didn't want to get rid of it. Anyway, so just wanted to mention that real quick. And thanks for watching. God bless. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye bye.